It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
You know what time it is. Let's talk some sports. It is Monday, January 30th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
You know what, my friend? It is all about you. Happy birthday, Ryan Ermanni.
Yeah.
How you feeling,
man,
buddy?
I'm feeling good. Let me tell you, the love that I have gotten today from the people that I know, from the people that I don't know. It really is a humbling thing when somebody takes time out of their day to say happy birthday. It could be very small on the outside, but it means so much on the inside. And I'll tell you, Braylon Edwards walks in with a card with a little something in it.
Little something.
Did he give you an autograph card of this?
That doesn't hurt either,
I think what I gave you might be worth a little bit more these days. It might be worth a little bit more.
I love you so much, man. I love you so much, man. It's so great. And Tom Mazawey, hello. How are you today?
I'm good, brother. Happy birthday. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. Great football weekend. So-so football weekend. Again, first game yesterday. Ugh. Second game was a hell of a game.
Plenty of time to get in there, and we are gonna talk about that. But Braylon, you had a quick trip out west this week.
I had a quick trip. Ryan and mine and my brother played in the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl, same game last year that James Houston of the Detroit Lions was founded. Appreciate that, Flesh. This is my brother. This is this week in practice. I had a really good week. When you go to these all-star games, after the college bowl games, if you will, it's all about the week of practice. Like, he didn't get a ton of catches in the game. He got 1, 2 looks, got a pass interference. That's at on Rose Bowl Field, which very field. My father, who's right there, played on and had a touchdown in the 81 Rose Bowl against Washington.
What a family. Look at that family. How gorgeous is that?
Appreciate that, man. It was crazy. Obviously, my brother had a good week of practice. Richard Sherman was down there, former teammate of mine. It was just a great time. But the cool thing about it is to be on that field after the game was over with, because it was about him. You're kind of not thinking about it. As soon as I touched my feet onto the soil, it's like my dad scored a touchdown here in 1981. Speak of the devil.
Look at that.
This is my dad before the Rose Bowl in 81. I'm tied in the Rose Bowl record for most touchdowns receiving in the game. That's one of them. That was the first one. I think it's myself, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Keyshawn Johnson all have 3. But just to be on that field, man, and, after that game, and my dad played, and now my brother's playing, just truly a blessed family. They're definitely a good-looking family, but I'd say a blessed family more than anything. But the more you travel, it's my dad after he scored a touchdown. Can you say he's excited? Yeah. Can you see he's excited? Man, now getting away from football, just traveling, going to New York in December twice, and then going to California, doctor's appointments once, and then going to Phoenix for the bowl game, and now going to Cali for this. The more you get away from Michigan, the more you ask yourself that question: why am I still in Michigan? Like, what is keeping me here in Michigan? It used to be family. Look, everybody's doing their own thing now. I don't have to worry about family anymore. You land in Cali, it's beautiful. The breeze is coming off the Pacific Ocean. You got Malibu, you have Santa Monica right there, you have LA, Hollywood, all these places, Covina, Tarzana. It's just a beautiful place. It feels good. You're walking outside, you're smoking the joint. Like, it's beautiful. Snuck that in there. You're like, I did that. And then you come back home, and then my Uber driver almost kills me on 275 driving in this ice and snow at 6 a.m. on Saturday or Sunday morning. Why am I even still here?
Maz, it sounds like Braylon Edwards wants to be a snowbird, where he leaves in the wintertime because he can't get away from all that golf in the summer.
I'm trying to tell you.
I say it all the time. I don't know why I live here.
I'm telling you, I can be viral. I can do this. I can be remote.
Right. Hey, man, it's the way of the world days. Way of the world these days.
I just come in when we go on location.
There you go.
I would love to be in California.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I mean, you get your occasional little earthquake. But besides that, you got it made.
It was an earthquake on Tuesday, I think.
I heard about that.
Yeah, before I wasn't there yet because I would have still trying.
Dude, what did you think of the Rose Bowl? Like, what did you think of sitting in the stands and walking around the concourse level and all that stuff? Because you haven't seen it from that perspective.
Right. Glad you brought it up. It's basically like when you know what I'm saying, you've been dating the chick for a while. She's all made up. She's done up. You guys go home for the first time. She spends the night. You go to sleep. She's looking one way. And then you wake up. You're like, oh, whoa, is that what you look like?
It's like you go home at 2 with a 10. You wake up at 10 with a 2.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Go to bed with a 10, wake up with a 2. That's true because the reason why I say that, playing at the Rose Bowl, the aesthetics are there. You come out of the locker room, you got the one end zone's painted Michigan, the field's painted in the Rose Bowl colors, the other side is painted Texas or USC in my case. The stands are crowded, full of the away team, mind you. But Michigan, we're there, we're in full support. The mountains are in the background, Sierra Nevada is just beautiful. It's beautiful. Now, when I went as a spectator, the stadium's old as hell. They've done no renovations. It's fading. No color in that stadium is the color that it was supposed to be now. Like, they're all faded. The chairs are old. Everything is old there because it's owned by the city of Pasadena and not by UCLA, which, like Michigan owns Michigan Stadium. So all the skyboxes, all the renovations, all the lowering of the seatings, all the lowering of the field, Michigan do what the hell they want. Like in UCLA, they can't do it. They have to wait for the city of Pasadena. And Pasadena's like, I ain't putting no money into this.
Wow.
And that's going to be a Big Ten stadium now. They're going to have to bring it up to stuff a little.
They're going to have to. Because they don't put money in because they don't do live events there. Like the last time they did an event that wasn't, a bowl game of college was probably the Super Bowl. Whereas like USC, the Coliseum, they leased the Coliseum off for tons of things, whether it's concerts, whether it's other games, whether it's events, whether it's parades, whether it's whatever. Like the Rose Bowl does nothing but house the Rose Bowl and UCLA. And now this bowl game.
That's the one venue that I want to go. I can't think of another venue really other than, I don't even know if I'd care to go to the Masters, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it'd be nice, but the one venue I'd love to go to that I have not been yet would probably almost certainly have to be the Masters. I can't think of a stadium right now that is,
SoFi?
SoFi, it's just so new. I mean, it's just so new.
Oh, you're saying like a story?
Yeah, like a story, like a history. I mean,
Neyland Stadium in Tennessee?
Been to Fenway, Wrigley, old Yankee Stadium, Soldier Field. You been
to Superdome?
Never been to the Superdome. I have not been to Lambeau either. I've not been to Lambeau.
There you go.
Yeah.
Those are two good
number one.
Those are two good ones. The Superdome and Lambeau for sure. Those are two stories.
I don't need domes.
Yeah, but the Superdome has housed a ton of major events.
It has.
Fights, matches, wrestling, basketball. The game, the college basketball game that they have was the biggest game of all time. Played at the Superdome. I think it was it Houston and UNC?
That was the Astrodome.
Oh, it was Astrodome. UNC and, not UNC.
It was Houston, Elgin Baylor against UCLA, Lou Alcindor.
And that's the first time they lost.
Yeah.
First time they lost.
Yep.
There was something special, and there was something special probably more than anything walking into Fenway. There was even more than Yankee Stadium, to be honest with you. That Fenway Park, seeing that Citgo sign, that green monster.
How about Wrigley?
Wrigley's great. I feel like I've been to Wrigley a million times, though. I don't know why. Just going to Chicago in the summers and meeting up with your buddies.
You was in Wrigleyville.
Yeah, you go to Murphy's Bleachers. You get all.
How about the Cubby Bear?
You go to the Cubby Bear. All these different places. So it's all good, guys. Lots of football to discuss. My goodness, what a weekend it was.
How about zebras?
And
we
really,
talk about them too.
That's kind of where I want to start.
It starts on Saturday.
Right, and it starts on Saturday with the LeBron situation.
It does. Yeah.
Is he still crying, by the way?
Can I just say quickly about the LeBron
Shannon
thing?
Still apologizing. He's still crying.
Did you see the video of the LeBron kind of whining and crying and pleading and all this stuff and all these theatrics on the court? Look, I am not the biggest fan of LeBron James. He's just not one of my favorite players of all time. I respect the hell out of him.
Right.
But I'll tell you, I loved what he did on that court on Saturday night.
You mean on national TV?
On national television. And the reason why I loved it is because finally, we talk about the regular season.
Your birthday doesn't mean I can't disagree with you.
No,
I'm
please.
just letting you know that now.
There was something about having this unbelievably accomplished superstar caring that much about a regular season game? That, like, what's the grand
He
scheme
didn't
of
care
things?
about the game.
You don't
He cares
think
about himself.
Okay. You win. I'm not going to argue. I would disagree with you.
That's fine.
But I'm just he cared so much about winning that game. Lakers, Celtics. I loved it. Good for you, LeBron.
Man, cap.
Oh, God.
All cap. All cap. And if you don't know what cap means out there, it means it's a lie. This is what I think about the situation. Could both aspects be true? I think there is some truth to what you say about the competition level. I mean, we know LeBron's a competitor, and if you've seen the video footage, there's a bunch of it out there. Like the last couple games they played in, they've had 7 to 8 really, really bad calls. 5 of them have decided games that they were in. I will say that. Now, they've been getting cheated. The other side of that is exactly what Maz said. Maz, he goes up, he gets fouled, he turns around. This is true anger. Like the initial was true anger. He goes up. You can clearly see Jason Tatum smack him on the arm.
After he traveled.
Well, you know they're going to let him travel. They're definitely going to let him travel.
I'm just saying.
So, yes, he gets up there. Jason Tatum smacks his arm down. It's a foul. He turns around with the anger. And, yeah, that's true anger. But everything after the initial, Ryan Ermanni, was exactly what my man Tom Mazawey points out. It is theatrics because it's a Saturday primetime game. It's the Lakers Celtics, especially on the heels of what LeBron said in the offseason about the Celtics fans being racist, yelling out racial slurs, which we know to be true. Yep. But on the heels of all of that, LeBron played to the theatrics. The fact that he went down on all fours, actually all sixes, because he was on his knees. Then he dropped to his elbow, and then he pounded on the floor. Technically, that's 6.
A Florida Evans, damn.
Exactly. Come on, lay GM, lay Bron, lay drama. Like this, like you would have never seen Michael Jordan go to the ground in all 6s and bang on the floor. You would have never seen Kobe go to all 4s and bang on the floor. Magic, Julius Erving. The list goes. Shaq. The list goes on. There has to be a level where you say, okay, I can't stoop to that. To go down on all 4s and then bang the ground at TD Garden, LeBron, come on, man, that's a bit too much.
Come on, man,
that's a bit too much.
Anywho,
what up?
That's a bit too much. It was a bad call. He should have been pissed about it. I'd have been pissed about it. I was actually more pissed that AD was mad at the end of the game. I think he said something like, man, they out there cheating us. No, they cheat LeBron. You're cheating the Lakers your damn self. 16 and 10, AD?
You're cheating.
You're cheating the Lakers. Westbrook had more points than AD.
Guys, we are...
The refs have been terrible starting this
How do you root for that guy?
And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. And the one call in particular that I just completely, vehemently... will go to my grave saying you cannot make this call. You know what it is. Coming up next. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company.
What are you doing tonight?
You know what I'm doing
tonight. You know what you're doing tonight.
I bought myself a new grill over the weekend.
Ooh.
And you know what I'm going to cook on? I'm breaking it out tonight. It is going to be a couple of Fairway Packing fillets. You know what time it is.
Is there any way I can come over for the birthday?
Man,
I'm just saying.
The open invite, baby. Open invite. Fairway Packing Company, owned and operated by the Barada family since 1956. You can try the Barada Blend Burgers or the award-winning Chop House Steaks. Impress your friends with a dry-aged Wagyu Tomahawk Steak. See why the top chefs in the country choose Fairway. You can visit their steak shop on Mack and Grosse Pointe Woods, or you can visit them online. They ship anywhere. Visit fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Many businesses choose an 101 effective date. Swiss can help make sure you have proper coverage. And also, Swiss is the best. My man Mark tells me so. I know so. So give him a shout. Swiss Mark Insurance Group, man.
Want to thank everybody in the chat right now, especially Tammy.
Tammy's still holding it down for us?
Tammy is holding it down
Tammy
for
Chin.
us. The old happy birthdays in the chat. Certainly
Tammy's great,
appreciate
man.
that.
Appreciate
Love
you,
that.
Tammy.
She is leading the charge with that.
I love seeing her every once in a while at John Hughes store, Pro Sports Hospital.
There you go.
Pro Sports Zone.
I gotta head out there, man. I gotta head out there with you.
Just let me know, man. I'll be another birthday gift.
Absolutely. Hey, WoodwardSports.com, Fox2Detroit.com if you're watching online, Fox 2 app. We appreciate you. However you're consuming Woodward Sports Network, we appreciate you. Officiating. It was the big story over the weekend, and no matter what you're talking about these games, whether it was at the bar, at home, on the phone, through text, social media, the officials were probably the first, second, and third top stories that you had mentioned. Trending, absolutely. I do have to mention the most talked about call, though, too, and that was the last play in the Cincinnati-Kansas City game. The personal foul penalty on the sidelines by the linebacker, 22-year-old Osai, who's running.
Played a great game.
Played an incredible game, pushes him out of bounds. It was a clear foul. Right? I mean,
yeah.
Can we agree on that? To me, it's a call you can't make. That, to me, you cannot make that call in that situation. I understand it was a foul. I understand that. But it had no impact on the play itself. It had nobody got hurt except him. It was a bang situation. You can't make that call. To me, you cannot make that call, and it effectively changed the outcome of that game. And I would equate it to, we talked about it similarly, an NBA game at the end of regulation. How much do teams get away with on that last possession in the NBA? I thought that officials should have eaten the whistle and let it play out. Games are officiated differently at the end of the game. Again, I don't know. I hated the way that game ended. I would have rather the two teams sorted out instead of whether the young man lost where he was on the field or couldn't hold up, or
it was barely a push.
If he
and Patrick did sell it.
Yeah,
he did. Sold it.
He sold it. If
that's what he's supposed to do.
So I don't know, man. I think you eat that. I think you eat that whistle. It's a total foul. I get it. I think you eat the whistle.
I disagree, and the reason why I disagree is because we both said you understand that is a foul. Like, that's a foul. Whether he touched him a little bit, whether he touched him a lot of bit, he fouled him. Like, your job as a defender is to understand the situation. You clearly saw that he had broke the plane of out of bounds. Look, and let's start with him. Joseph Asai played a hell of a game. And then when you're watching him do the press conference after the game, you feel for the kid. Because, one, he is a kid. He's 22. He knows he's messed up in that moment. He wasn't trying to mess up in that moment. He's 22. He's young. He's in a situation he's never been in before. You see him after the game. He definitely was very empathetical. He definitely felt bad. He definitely knew he cost his team. But at the same time, and you feel bad for him. But you feel bad for him. But coming back to it, that's a foul. That's what comes with the territory. Like, when you put yourself in a situation as a ref, I'm looking at it, that's a call I got to make. Because here's the other side of that. What if Patrick Mahomes trips on another one of the players? Hey, you say he sold it. You still got pushed for you to be able to feel it. Like, for you to be able to feel it, he still got pushed a little bit forward. What if he trips over one of the players and hurts his ankle? What if he somehow hurts his ankle? What if he gets hurt because of an extra push and you don't call it? You let it rock or you let it whatever. You got to call the plays the way that you would call them. You got to stay consistent. We're talking about bad reffing at the end of that game with LeBron and the Celtics. That was a clear foul on Jason Tatum. Should have got the call, should have got 2 free throws and had a chance to win that game. But they don't get the call, and we're sitting here talking about it. We're laughing at LeBron selling it, but that was a horrible call. If they miss that call and they don't call that, we'll be sitting here talking about them missing that call, especially if Kansas City goes into overtime and loses again like they did last year. So I think that it's just tough. You hate for the games to end like that. We hated to see the Bills game end like that last year, where they, to Maz's point, they basically lost because they lost the coin toss. You hate for games, especially the build-up all year, talking about Burrow, talking about Mahomes, whether it's Burrowhead, et cetera, et cetera. You hate for it to end that way. But that was a call that he had to make.
Yeah, he had to make that call. There's not a doubt about it. The kid made a mistake, and matter of fact, here he is. Here's Joe Asai after the game. They caught up to him at the locker. His teammates backed him up, but here he is.
It means the world to me. These guys mean a lot to me, and we come every day and we work hard for each other, and to know that they have my back is extremely, it's giving me peace right now, for sure. Just
Mike Girardi on the text. Thank you very much for that. Joe Asai after the game. Yes, but now go back 10 minutes prior to that. When they pushed, and I think it was Chris Jones, pushed Joe Burrow after he threw the ball, pushed him harder than Asai did with Patrick Mahomes. Joe gets up, puts his hands up, no call on that play. If you're going to call it one way, call it the other way too. And there were plenty of holds on Kansas City on that last run when he was trying to get out of the pocket.
Yeah.
When he's trying to get out of the pocket, there are two for sure holds. There's also a block in the back and a hold on the punt return to get him up to the 40-yard line. Call it both ways. Ron Torbert was a disgrace yesterday. And how about the fifth play? All of a sudden, they're punting. No. Let's go and play back and say, no, that play that Travis Kelce caught, that doesn't count. It's 5 minutes after the play. They give him the ball back. They sack him. No, Eli Apple called for holding 5 yards down the field. Let's give him 4 more freaking plays. Yeah, they didn't score on those plays, but it was home cooking all the way. That's all I'm saying. Both teams played awesome. I'm not taking anything away from Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league by far. Second, Joe Burrow. Third, Jalen Hurts. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with Matt, and that's why we talked about the call. I think we isolated the call initially when you first brought up. The call definitely had to be made. Now, speaking with Matt, he's right. Like the officiating was horrible. It was one-sided. You clearly saw it. Now, to some extent, and I always relate to basketball. It just makes sense. I surely get what you're saying, but just like you said, you're talking 5 AFC championships in a row that have been in Arrowhead. You're talking about 3 Super Bowl appearances now
in 4 years
by Patrick Mahomes in 5 years. Yeah, exactly, in 4 years. Yeah, in 4. He's, to a certain extent, the Kansas City Chiefs have earned a little bit of favor with the refs. It's just like, it's no different than Jordan. It's no different than LeBron when he was with the Heat. It's no different than Kobe. When you earn some favor, you get calls. I understand that. But it just seemed like this past weekend, the calls were a little bit blatantly one-sided. It seemed like the Chiefs were getting the majority of the calls, and as soon as Brock Purdy got hurt in the 49er game,
that was that.
Forget about it, because the Eagles got every call moving.
Yeah, we'll get there. I do want to stay on this Kansas City game if I could. And Maz, you really kind of make my point for me, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't show you the video, guys, because copyright and whatever. Being a web show, we can't do it. There were 2 holds on that last Mahomes play.
Yeah,
there were 2.
Blatant.
So, I mean, that ref who's staring right at it chose to eat the whistle on those. Yeah. And I just thought it would have been appropriate to eat the whistle on the last one. Michael Lombardi, who's a great follow on the NFL, former executive in the NFL, great follow on Twitter. The inconsistency from one weekend to the next bothers me more than the number of calls. Why did the league change its letting them play style in the past weeks? The number of penalties in this playoff has been just incredible, and it was not like that in the regular season. So teams don't know from one crew to the next who's going to call what. There is such an inconsistency. And can we put up the tweet from Albert Breer?
Yep.
Albert Breer said this: the Chiefs deserve to win that game, and I agree with that, by the way.
Both teams deserve it.
Absolutely, but the officiating in that one was absolutely atrocious. Wrecked a great game. It's time for the NFL to implement the Sky Judge and deploy it aggressively, which is what a great majority of coaches want. You have the technology, guys. Use it, and I think that's my biggest gripe with the NFL and with sports in general.
It's like the strike zone.
I am all for these baseball robots.
Yes, it's a strike zone for a reason.
I really am, because there's just too much at stake, man.
Yeah.
There's just too much at stake. There's jobs on the line.
There's bets.
There's betting, to be sure. I mean, how much money was on the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday?
I know a lot of people that lost a lot of money.
I mean, how much money was on the Bengals? And now, since you are in bed with Vegas, I mean, you got Florio from Pro Football Talk in all caps tweeting rigged.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Zach
to me.
Taylor said it on his mic. Someone locked in on him. He was talking upstairs and he's like, rigged. Rigged. That's a head coach.
Yeah.
How do you move forward in a league when after your championship, and I don't know, maybe what did Mark Cuban say so many years ago? When
he won?
Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, is the NFL, is it ever going to be the hog? Is it ever going to be the hog that gets slaughtered? Because it just feels like we should be talking about two championship games today, and what we're left with is talking about how the officiating sucks.
I'll never forget.
And how, more often, Maz, than the officiating sucks, how head coaches, how partners with the league. I mean, Pro Football Talk and Mike Florio, in conjunction with NBC, is a pseudo-partner of the NFL.
Right. Yeah.
You have those types of people, not Ryan Ermanni hosting, podcasts or whatever. I mean, these are partners with the league, head coaches in the league saying rigged.
You see this pill? This is a migraine pill. I'm going to take it now because I do have a migraine. I swear to you, this game, it just wore on me. I can't look at Ron Torbert anymore. I can't look at him. It sickens me when a referee team kills a good game. They killed the flow of a great game, standing over the ball for a minute at a time. The ball moved an inch. Take 4 seconds off the play clock, please. Get the hell off the field and let them play the damn game.
I was looking at somewhere today. I was reading on I was reading on Twitter. It said that we've been complaining about the refs now for the better part of 5 years. I think 2018 is kind of towards the end of that season. It's kind of when it really started to happen, and it's really been bad. 2020 till now, we really have watched it, get worse and worse and worse. Here's a question: how much of that is because of there's such an inconsistency of teams in the playoffs every year? And what I mean by that, it's a good thing. What do we keep talking about? We talk about every year there's 4 new teams on each side, or 6 new teams, or 7, or whatever the numbers are. Like, now you're not seeing exactly the teams you may so want to see. Back in the day, you're going to have the same 12 teams in the playoffs every year. Maybe a new team or so, but it's going to be the same 12, and you can let them fight it out, and whoever gets to the Super Bowl, it looks good. Whoever gets to the Super Bowl, we're excited to have it, because John Elway had to wait his turn, Brett Favre had to wait his turn, Jim Kelly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now it seems like it's so, each year could be a new person in the Super Bowl. It can be a Joe Burrow and the Bengals that you don't respect last year. It can be, different teams, etc. How much will that affect, a riggedness? Like, no, we need Patrick Mahomes. We need Jalen Hurts. We need the story. How much of that is affecting it? Because anybody can be in the Super Bowl at any time now. It's not like you're looking at the same 10 teams.
Guys, let's continue this and look at the next game as well.
Wait till you see who the refs are in the Super Bowl.
We got all that for you coming up. And legitimately, we are talking about the games being rigged. And we're not the only ones. I mean, this is really the story of the day. Are these games rigged? And you can go back to Sammy Maz in 1965 telling a young Tom Mazawey about it.
Yep. Broadway shows, kid.
I want to get there and continue on with this next.
Yeah, I want to make sure we give some respect to the Chiefs too, because a lot of people talking about the refs, not necessarily giving the Chiefs
I totally, completely understand that. Got to do that as well. But first, a message from SMA.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health as well as substance use disorder. We, as well as the SMA, are trying to destigmatize mental health. We're trying to let you know it's okay to not be okay. But when that happens, where do you go to get the information? What do you know about the situation? Well, you go to thesportsma.com. Sean Jordan has done an amazing job in his partnership with the NFL Alumni Association to give you information, to provide and use his platform, and to just show you conversation. Go to thesportsma.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Hey, it's Maz for Cousins Maine Lobster, cousinsmainelobster.com. If you're a big seafood fan and you love lobster, and who doesn't really, how about that hot butter on that lobster? Cousins Maine Lobster is the place for you. It's like being in Maine, but it's right here in Detroit, Michigan. That's right. Get on their website right now. Download their app. Go to that QR code right there to, what is that, to my right? Well, it's to the side of my picture. Whatever the hell it is. Just click on the damn thing. You're going to find out where the Cousins Maine Lobster food trucks are. And I'll tell you what, once you find out where they are, you better get there early because the line will be long. Cousins Maine Lobster, the best seafood right here in Detroit, USA, cousinsmainelobster.com.
We've been talking about the officials so much, and I think it's the story of the day. I mean, we got 2 weeks to talk about the Super Bowl, the matchup, and everything like that. But the story of the day are the NFL officials, and so many people talking about, as you had mentioned for years, about full-time officials.
Yep.
But Braylon, not only the officials in the Kansas City game, but I thought this idea of a sky judge is something the NFL should utilize. And perhaps if a sky judge was utilized, maybe you get that 4th and 3, that incredible catch that wasn't a catch in the Devontae Smith in the first game on 4th and 3. Maybe you get that the right call. See, here's what happens, guys. If that 4th and 3 is called properly,
right,
an incomplete pass. And by the way, I think Kyle Shanahan takes.
He blew it.
He blew
the front end of that half and the second half.
Kyle Shanahan
that
blew
half.
that.
Oh yeah. Never mind.
But if that call is called properly and it is an incomplete pass, maybe Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt.
Fact.
I mean, just maybe the 49ers aren't even in a position, at that point in the game to do what they, to drop back and throw a pass. I mean, and get sacked like that. I mean, you just have no idea what unfolds after that game or after that play. It's all a domino. It's all cause and effect.
It's all domino. It's getting off. It's getting out of line with the way things were supposed to be. If that had been called an incomplete pass, it leads to something else. It leads to something else. It doesn't lead to that play. Maybe that's a run play. Maybe. So it's all these, different lines or parallel universes. But the fact of the matter is, bad reffing is bad reffing. It's happening. That's why we're talking about it. I just want to jump on the other side with the Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs just for 2 seconds. The officiating was not both sided. It wasn't dual sided. It was one sided. It was on the side of the Kansas City Chiefs. But with that being said, let's not sit here and take away from how that team played. One of the biggest things going to the game, and now when we did our picks, I sent it in the Mavs. I picked the Eagles and the Bengals. But on Sunday, I was talking to my mentor, just like all the disrespect that the Cincinnati Bengals ushered through social media, through interviews, to the journalists, to the paper, all week, bulletin board material, as you call it. And some people say they're not against bulletin board material if you back it up. I'm always going to be against it because you wake up animals that don't need to be awakened. Sometimes you play better when you're playing and fighting for other people than fighting for yourself. And that's what happened. That's what you saw. That Kansas City Chiefs. They played so hard for the disrespect that Patrick Mahomes is getting in the media as it relates to Burrow and Burrowhead, and even the disrespect that they were getting. That defense played beside themselves. When we put up the 4 position of the 4 players on Thursday, the 4 players in each game I said was most important. And the Bengals game, the Bengals and Chiefs game, for the Chiefs, I said Frank Clark. Frank Clark had 2 sacks, and I still was wrong. It's Chris Jones. Chris Jones dominated that game. For as much as you want to talk about the Bengals and they got cheated, it was some bad calls in that game. Joe Burrow threw that pick. I haven't seen Joe Burrow throw a pass that bad. Maybe the flat route in the end zone the week before was as bad, but he basically threw the ball right to the defender. Joe Burrow doesn't do that. You know what comes with that? Now his teammates have put more pressure on him by talking, SHIT. So now he's in the game. Now he's out of the floor in the game. Now he's pressing because he's like, I got to back the mayor who's bumped his gums to the media. I got to go make him right. I got to make my teammates right. So maybe Joe Burrow put a little bit more off on himself than he would have just playing usual Joe Cool if he didn't respond for that. They held Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon to under 30 yards total rushing. Both of them under 30 yards total rushing. They kept Jamar Chase out the end zone. They kept pressure on Burrow. We didn't even know if Patrick Mahomes was going to play before the game.
Or Kelsey, by the way.
Or Kelsey with his lower back injury.
That happened on Friday in the postseason.
I know his mouth works.
Practice.
Well, you know what? He waited till it was over for his mouth to work, though. At least he waited till it was over, unlike the Bengals. He waited to comment about what the Bengals said till it was all said and done. We didn't even know if Mahomes was going to play. He threw for 325. That's 2 touchdowns. No interceptions. Travis Kelce, he goes out there. First touchdown. Travis is always going to catch it. I don't know why people don't bet Travis Kelce catch the first touchdown in the game, every Chiefs game. He went out there and backed it up. Clark went out there and backed it up. Jones went out there and played better than played him better, him too. Better than Aaron Donald did last year in the conference championship. So you got to give the Chiefs a lot of credit. We keep making it about the officials, and rightfully so. But let's not forget how good that defense played for the Chiefs and Mahomes on one leg.
I think both things can be true, by the way.
It's still a 2020 game.
That's why I said I agree.
Braylon, it's still 2020.
I understand it, Matt. I'm just simply saying let's not overshadow how well they played. Like talking about Chris Jones had 2 sacks. Frank Clark had 2 sacks. Patrick Mahomes is on one leg. I just simply said, in the midst of complaining about refereeing and officiating, let's just not take or let it overshadow how well that team played. Because the Bengals were the better team coming into it. Top to bottom, the Bengals were the better team. So technically, the Bengals should have won.
Yeah,
but it's hard winning on the road.
Yeah,
especially when you run your mouth.
I'll tell you, I don't know. I think the Bengals are a really good team, but after watching this, and I mentioned on Friday, Joe Burrow has not scored. Joe Burrow and that Bengals offense has not scored over 27 points in any playoff game they've ever played.
One, I think.
No, they've scored 27 last year. There's a high. 27-24, they beat the Chiefs. Yesterday was the first time the Bengals have scored a fourth quarter touchdown in a postseason game over the last 2 years. They've got all these great offensive weapons. They've not been that great.
So is that Burrow or is that Zach Taylor?
Well, however you want to look at it. What I'm sitting here looking at today is, you can turn on any sports show in the country today, and the first, second, and third thing people are talking about is the bad officials.
I agree with you. I just was simply saying, in light of all the bad officiating, in light of this us talking about, I was like, let's make sure we shed a light on some of that stuff as well. You know what did come into play, Ryan and Maz, and maybe this could speak to, because coming into the game, if you start with the last 8 weeks of the season till yesterday, the Cincinnati Bengals have put themselves in a position where they were the best top-to-bottom team, maybe in the NFL outside of the Eagles, and the Eagles struggled a little bit towards the end. The Bengals didn't. But the Bengals have had deals with their linemen for the last over a year. They had issues last year, and somehow Joe Burrow still got them within maybe a half a second from throwing a touchdown to win the Super Bowl. This year, the offensive line got better. They put money into offensive line. They took Kappa from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who got injured and didn't play. They drafted a couple tackles. They drafted well. They brought in some guys. They spent some money. They went and got Martin from the Cowboys. All those guys got injured yet again. All those guys got injured yet again. So that's why you really got to tip your hat off. If they don't have, if they would have had the offensive lineman, they would have been a better team, and they may have won the game.
You know, one of the things too about the officials that everybody's kind of talking about today is now this crew that's working the officials. Put it up. It is Maz's favorite official, Carl Sheffers.
Roy Ellison.
This guy loves himself some Carl Sheffers.
Carl Sheffers wants to see himself in front of 100 million people because there is no official in the NFL that has thrown more penalties than Carl Sheffers over the last 2 years.
Isn't that something?
This from Aaron Nagler on Twitter. The NFL announces Carl Sheffers, who has led the NFL in penalties per game in each of the last 2 seasons. He will be the referee in the Super Bowl. I don't get it, guys.
Can't wait to see him again.
I just don't get it.
In terms of referees, in terms of them. At the end of the day, I think nowadays, like, everybody's getting bigger. Like, everybody's getting bigger. Like, the guys that are 6-man are getting bigger. Backup quarterbacks are getting bigger. Like, the game is getting bigger. All sports are getting bigger. People care. Like, people see the league is getting better. Now they want their 2 minutes of fame. They want to shine, too. Everybody wants to get in on the image. Everybody wants to get in on a commercial. Everybody wants to get their seconds of fame on TV. Hey, you saw me call that call, right? You saw me call that play. Everybody wants to be in the action. And I think that's what you're saying with refs, too. They want to matter. They want to make a difference, sometimes for the wrong reason.
Bring back Jerry Markbride and Ed Hockley.
Ed Hockley, that's my guy, man. I love whenever we had Ed Hockley, or I always forgot this guy's name, the little black ref with the mustache.
Oh yeah,
the thick mustache.
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly.
Oh yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those are my favorite too. Like whenever we would have them, I would look, because they give us the rundown, you know what I'm saying, like leading up to that week, so we know we're refs. I'm like, oh yeah, we got my boy. It's gonna be a good one, because they call good games.
Yeah,
like you could just play football.
Yep.
Like it's nothing like going into a game, Ryan, where you're like, cool, I can just play football, and I know the Zebras are gonna get everything right. I hate going into those games, whether it was in college, whether it was in the NFL. You're like, man, we got to blow these guys out just to make sure.
Who's the guy in Big Ten basketball that everyone talks about?
Gene Steratore?
No. I forgot what his freaking name was.
He's
Teddy Valentine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. He's blown
TV Teddy, they call him. Because he gets a national TV game, and that son of a gun is calling a freaking whistle every other second.
Saturday at 7. You don't want to see him.
Hey, guys, just quickly. Well, it doesn't have to be quickly, but hasn't this playoff sucked?
Yes.
I mean, even yesterday, Chiefs and Cincinnati, all the drama towards the end, it still sucked. It felt like that game was not as good as it could have been. Maybe it's the way it ended. I hated it.
No, because you saw so many flags and so many delays.
There was no rhythm to that game. I think this playoff as a whole, short of the Jacksonville-San Diego game, or
Minnesota Giants was a good game.
But the Giants really had it from. The Giants.
Like a good bad game.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like both teams really suck. Like you really only
I enjoyed it anyway.
It's like no, it's true, but you're delaying the inevitable. You added another game, which means you added a worse team into the playoffs. In the NFC, you're talking about anybody can win it. Well, that's not necessarily a good thing if you're talking about the playoff. Anybody can win. That's not a good formula, because that means you got some bad teams in there, and everybody's equal. When you play a playoffs, it's got to be 6 teams originally. Yeah. It's 3 really good teams on each side, and there are 3 pretty good teams. Now it's like, all right, cool. Seattle got in. Seattle didn't belong in the playoffs. Tampa didn't belong in the playoffs. Like Dallas. They were good, but you knew what Dallas was going to do.
They were garbage.
Minnesota, all year, you hit the nail on the head.
I told you.
They're a fake 13-4. They're a fake 12-5. They're a fake, and you were right. They were bums. It's been a bad playoff. Brandon Staley and the Chargers, we knew they were going to let us down.
Like, can you just do one thing for me, Fox?
Yeah.
Get Terry Bradshaw the hell off the freaking thing, please.
Why? What issues did you have with him?
He's just terrible.
He's just old.
He's
and
horrible.
It's time for him to get out of there.
He's just terrible. He don't know where the hell he is. The poor guy's been concussed more times than anybody I know. Get him the heck. That's enough.
Yeah.
If you got good people, put the freaking good people. Put Kevin Burkhardt down on the damn stage. What are you doing with Terry Bradshaw?
Sometimes, like Maz is right.
Put Strahan at least.
Ryan, sometimes it's time to move on from people. And it's funny because it's the same thing when you watch Lee Corso. Like, when you watch Lee Corso.
Oh, I can't watch him.
Like, you can't
watch
watch
him. The guy.
Like, it makes
can't watch him.
It takes away from the broadcast when you have these individuals up here, and there's such icons, and they're such great in terms of what they did. I don't know, Terry Bradshaw may not be the best person, but as a football player, it's amazing. Lee Corso, as a person, as a coach, as a broadcaster, just iconic. But when it is time, it is time. It is time.
Guys, just a little bit of a different question for you, too. I want to talk about social media reaction to sports takes and what, if you believe it has anything to do with the fact that people are betting and losing money on these games. We'll talk about that quickly, and I want to get to that first game. Guys, I mean, come on. That game was over midway through the first quarter.
Do we have to talk about that game?
We are contractually obligated to talk about it. We'll do it next, but first a message from the Folding Warehouse.
Let me get my folding pin out here. The Folding Warehouse down in Hamtramck, Michigan. Get on down there. 2 ways to play it. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for 10 or 12 people on a lane, 2 hours for $120. If you're hankering for a drink, they got multiple full bars, anything you need, and over 100 beers on that menu, plus the $2 mystery beer machine. Bring your own food in or have it delivered. Get your fold on, especially on a day like today, at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh, wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
What's up, everybody? JB here, letting you all know about Planet Fitness and how they're our official studio sponsors here at Woodward Sports. But also, they're home to the Judgment-Free Zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere for just $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yes, only $10. Or upgrade to the Black Card with unlimited guest privileges, the Hydro Massage, and so much more in-club. Join the club today, or you can always check them out at planetfitness.com.
Guys, I want to ask you this, because I have noticed this lately, and I'm not sure if I am on my own here or not. I'd love for anybody in the chat to weigh in as well. I have noticed that on sports takes recently, since gambling has been legalized almost everywhere, if you notice that people are more mean, for lack of a better way to say it, on sports takes. I mean, just the most random sport take, people want to rip your head off. And I honestly think it's because people have so much rage about losing money on sports. Yeah. I think people are so angry about the fact that they are now betting on these games, losing money, and they don't want to hear what you have to say about simple sports opinions. I mean, even like, I think this is the Lions' last best opportunity to draft their quarterback of the future. pretty mundane.
Yeah.
No, nothing. I mean, people want to rip your head off.
Would you stop mocking quarterbacks to the Lions?
I mean, people.
We don't need a quarterback.
Rip your head up, or the officials affected or something. I mean, people are so mean on social media.
Yeah.
Maybe that's. I mean, people are gonna rip my head off for saying that, but my goodness.
Yeah, people are very mean on social media. I don't know if it's directly reflected gambling, because I feel like I noticed it a while ago, even with my own fan base in Michigan. I know we've had a difference of agreements over the past 7-8 years, and I've seen some of it then. You know, I just think people are. I think social media kind of started as you being on your best behavior, and I think now it's gotten to a place where there is no respect, because there doesn't have to be any respect. So people are saying whatever they want. Sometimes they say things for S's and giggles to get their boy to laugh. Like, yo, man, look what I said to Ryan Ermanni. Man, look what I said about that. Yo, so I think a lot of that is that. And I also think it's just a saturated market of opinions. Mm-hmm. Like nowadays, there's so many opinions about the same thing. And I think people are getting tired of so many opinions, and maybe it makes them angry, because everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a show. Everybody has a podcast. And I'm not disrespecting what we do, but I'm just saying everybody has a show. Everybody has a little take. Everybody does a little minute and 30 seconds, in their office on Monday to recap the week. And I think because of all the different opinions, people are like, man, shut up. Another opinion, another this. I think people are just getting tired and even angrier, Ryan Ermanni.
Hey, you and I are forever going to be haunted by
I'm not haunted by it. It was a bad take.
Listen, whatever word I want to use.
Right.
Just because we mentioned we wanted the Lions to draft Malik Willis, these people that listen to our show and comment on our show are going to always say, these bozos wanted Malik Willis. I want a quarterback. I want a quarterback that I could draft like we drafted Matthew Stafford here in Detroit. Yes, we have Jared Goff. We could pretend we drafted Jared Goff as the number one guy back in the day. The Rams did it. He did take him to a Super Bowl. He did very well. Congratulations. Sean McVay moved off of him and took our guy here from Detroit to win a Super Bowl. Regardless, I'm just going to go with Sean McVay. He knows a little bit more about quarterbacks than all of us put together. But every time we say, let's draft a quarterback, we get hounded by you guys. Hounded. Why do you need a quarterback? I see other Detroit beat writers write about it, and they're like this: stop mocking quarterbacks to the Lions. I read that the other day a bunch of times. Why? Why? Don't you want your next quarterback?
Yeah.
I don't understand you guys. We bring a fun subject up the other day. Tom Brady, he's still looking for a team. Would you rather have Tom Brady right now? Or would you rather, and you guys want Jared Goff over here. And you call me an idiot. I just don't understand. I don't understand.
The one thing about Detroit Lions fans, they're very loyal. Like, Detroit Lions are very loyal, even when the team won.
I'm a Lion fan.
No. But now you do a show. Well, you've been doing shows, but you do a show. So now you get, when you make comments, because you know what, Maz? You're a logical Lions fan. Okay? You're a logical Lions fan. Like, you actually have you common sense. So it makes you say these takes because it's common sense take you here. Lions fans were against Jared Goff 2021. Lions fans pooped on Jared Goff 2021. 2022, Jared Goff comes to play. Starting in the offseason, you start to hear things about him in training camp. You watched it on Hard Knocks, and then you saw a first game, you saw a second game, you saw a third game. So by the time the season is up, especially as they go on their run, they finish 8-2 in 10 games, Lions fans are now loyal to Jared Goff. Lions fans are like, well, we put him through. He survived. He showed that he could be a Lion. So now they're going to attack you on the Lions front. Ryan, Maz, the Lions still need a quarterback. Whether they draft one in the second round or the third round, whether they make a move for Anthony Richardson, they're going to need a quarterback at some point because they're not completely sold on Jared Goff. Jared Goff is not your quarterback of the future. Jared Goff is your quarterback for the next 2 years. Maybe just this year. You're going to need a quarterback, and there's nothing wrong with that. People make mistakes on tape. How many people were happy they got Darko until it didn't work out? How many people thought they had the next Dirk Nowitzki until it didn't work out? So you know what, bad takes happen, but strong people last.
I'm giving you a bad example, though, of the reason why, because, I'm talking about the quarterbacks or whatever, but really, I was tweeting about the game yesterday, and some of the comments are just like dude, it's fine. Like, don't be so mad. And I'm reading some of these comments of other, other people that I follow, writing about the game, tweeting about the game, what they liked about this play, what they didn't like about that play. And if you read the comments of some of the stuff that followed, you would think that this guy was trying to, choke your sister out or something like that. I mean, it's like, dude, relax.
I don't even think they would go that hard.
It ain't that serious, I mean, and I really do believe that sports betting plays such a role in how we talk about sports now, how we feel about, when our team gets jobbed or when our teams don't get jobbed. And rightly or wrongly, good or bad, this is the first NFL season from the first week through now that I have not placed a wager on an NFL game.
Congratulations.
The entire season from week 1 and through Championship Sunday. And I won't play the Super Bowl, and I won't do it for a number of reasons. But first and foremost, I do think these officials have way too much power. And after watching the Tim Donaghy, I mentioned this before, after watching that Tim Donaghy Untold on HBO, I can't see myself legitimately placing
another wager
on sports after watching that.
Yeah.
And I invite everybody. It's Untold. It's a documentary on Netflix. And Tim Donaghy, and again, you could say, well, it's Tim Donaghy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He was the disgraced NBA official that was put in prison for gambling on games in which he was officiating. Right. But I think he knows what he's talking about. You may not trust him, but if you think that is relegated to just the NBA, I got news for you. It is not. It permeates sports.
Where there's money, there's stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with Tim Donaghy, man, the one thing I look about that is I actually watched the Bernie Madoff deal. Did you get a chance? Did you watch it?
Yes,
we talked about that.
Yep.
Hey, if you guys haven't watched it on Netflix, 4-part series, check it out. But when you watch that, you watch the Tim Donaghy stuff, you know what it tells you? It's like, oh, people knew.
Mm.
Hey, at the end of the day, he's a fall guy.
Didn't care.
Like, at the end of the day, he's a fall guy. Like, people knew. They didn't care. The results were good. The business was booming. Things were going. They let it happen for as long as it happened. Like, things like that, like what Madoff did, what Donaghy was doing, on that level, that much money, for that long, the people at the top know about it or have something to do with it when it's allowed to happen that doggone long. Nobody comes out of the woodwork with something like that and all of a sudden it's, man, I can't believe this guy was doing this. This is crazy. We in the NBA, we don't go for this. I call bull.
Yeah.
I call bull. Guys, San Francisco and Philadelphia, one of the worst championship games that you will ever see. I do want to talk about that game specifically next, but first a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 50 years. Now owns the Buick GMC brand. Same great service that customers have come to know. You can go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, standing strong as it always has been for over 5 decades on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
At Alta.
Uptime, it
That's
matters.
right. Uptime matters at Alta Equipment. They got everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, why not give Alta Rental a call? They've got you covered. Call them today. 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA.
And it's time for the Monroe Minute. Yes, the holidays might be done and over with, but the Midway is still going on strong. You got to get down there. You got to check out the giant Arctic slide, the winter bumper cars, the indoor arcade, putt-putt, and not to mention food as well. They are serving up burgers for you guys, pierogies, homemade chili, chicken sandwiches, mac and cheese bites, gluten-free and vegan options as well. So they're covering all the bases for you guys. But coming soon, we got the Woodward Sports Winter Olympics. You can compete with the likes of Darren McCarty, Braylon Edwards, Adam Baydoun, Ryan Ermanni, the Maz. Also, the heavyweights will be down there. They might go down that Arctic slide, so you might have to watch out for them as well, too. But the rest of the Woodward Sports family will be down there as well for the Monroe Street Midway Games. Check out more information at deckedoutdetroit.com. And, of course, we will see you at the Midway.
The Eagles were the best team in the NFL from start to finish. The number one seed in the NFC just completely destroys the San Francisco 49ers 31-7 in the NFC Championship game. It is their second Super Bowl in the last 6 years. Of course, the 2017 champs. Philadelphia, by the way, won this game in the first quarter.
Yeah.
When Brock Purdy went out of the game, that game was over. There was no intrigue whatsoever. And the 49ers do believe that Brock Purdy suffered an ulnar collateral ligament injury against the Eagles. This team lost 4 quarterbacks. You can't win that way.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. If we're going to be honest, and we've talked about the 49ers for the majority of the season, most of us had them in the Super Bowl. A lot of us had it winning the Super Bowl. Ryan, you had the 49ers win the Super Bowl. A lot of people had them winning the Super Bowl, and rightfully so because of how damn good that defense was, and even with a backup quarterback. But now let's be honest with ourselves.
They won 12 straight.
They did. But if you look at the games they played in when Brock Purdy was a quarterback, you look at how his league, the NFC West was. NFC West was bad by the time he got the starting job. 2 of the teams he won against, they were finished last place in their respective divisions. He won some games, but that defense was great. Like, now it's time to call a spade a spade. They had no chance from jump. You look at the Eagles' defensive line. They got 4 guys that had 10 or more sacks on that defensive line. That's the most since the Monsters of the Midway, 1985 Bears. That's the most ever. That defense was stacked solidly from top to bottom. Then you look at the offensive side. You look at Gainwell was a secret weapon.
I never even heard of him,
that they've used the last 2 weeks, by the way. He's been a secret weapon. Miles Sanders, they run the ball more. Jalen Hurts has the ability to throw, but he hasn't had to have thrown the ball. Like, from top to bottom, we should have known. Like, as soon as Brock Purdy didn't have a chance against that defense. Like, everything would have had to go perfect. For Kyle Shanahan would have had to call the game of his life. Brock Purdy would have had to play the game of his life and be perfect. And they still would have had a chance to lose. They were on their 4th-string quarterback, Ryan. Once it started, once he got hurt, game was instantly over. They start calling calls for the Eagles. I don't know why. The Eagles didn't need them. But if you look at the NFC playoff picture this year, the playoffs have been bad. But just look at it. Seattle made the playoffs. Starting the season, you didn't think Seattle was going to be in the playoffs. Seattle limped into the playoffs at the end. The Giants, nobody thought the Giants would have been in the playoffs. They limped into the playoffs at the end, and it showed. You look at the Lions, almost made the playoffs. I repeat, the Detroit Lions, who were 3-13-1 last year, who were 1-6 at the start of this past season, almost made the playoffs. Tampa was 8-9. They made the playoffs with no pass rush, with no run game. Cowboys won 13 games. Cowboys were the Cowboys, but the Cowboys are always going to do Cowboy stuff, correct? Minnesota, 13-4. No one trusted Minnesota except me and Max trusted Kirk Cousins. We trusted Kirk Cousins. We got burnt. Shame on us. 49ers were on the backup to the backup to the backup. And then the Eagles, of course. Now, they had a great season. When you script it and look at it from that lens, it was supposed to be a bad playoff. Like, the Eagles are getting to the Super Bowl. This might be the easiest trip to the Super Bowl in Super Bowl history. You get to play against the Giants, who had no business being there, playing with house money, and then you get to play against a fourth-string quarterback.
Fifth-string quarterback.
Fifth-string, fourth-string.
Well, I mean, Johnson.
Oh, that's right. He had to go back in there.
You need a practice squad player from the Lions.
Quarterbacks. Josh Dobbs went there. So when you look at it from that point, it's the easiest road to the Super Bowl in Super Bowl history. And I know we have 2 weeks to talk about it. I think that's going to hurt them in the long run.
Well, I'll tell you this. After hearing you just there, that was absolutely perfect. I don't think Terry Bradshaw could have said it any better than you did right there. But I should have known.
Yeah.
And I got suckered.
We all got duped.
I got suckered. I'm ashamed of myself.
What do you mean? What are you ashamed of?
I'm ashamed that I actually thought the Niners were going to be able to go in Philadelphia and win that game. But there was a part of me that was backing off of them. That's why I was going towards the Bengals and put my money on the Bengals, because I said San Francisco was going to run through everyone. Yeah. This was months ago when they got CMC, and they've been terrific. They just ran out of time. They ran into the better team, for sure. The better team won yesterday. What do we always say? If San Francisco scores 20, they win. Not this time. 31 points by that Eagles team, and they probably could have put 50 up if they really wanted. But you know it was over. Fred Warner goes down on the first play. Basically, I don't know, it was a stinger or whatever. He got to come back. Nick Bosa goes down.
Yeah.
Big time. 2 or 3 times they had to put him together and put him in there. And then your quarterback goes down. I've never seen a team with worse luck in one game in my entire life where your top 3 players go down all at once.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. You're talking about players that you can't replace, players that are arguably the best players at their position.
Yes.
Let's call it what it is.
Best linebacker, best defensive lineman.
One's all-pro. Well, both are all-pro. One's about to win Defensive Player of the Year. One could have been in the Defensive Player of the Year running. But here's another question. This is for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. Okay, this is a serious question. Fletch, put up that picture of that quarterback from the Jets, if you can find that picture. If you're Kyle Shanahan and the star quarterback that you have goes down in week 2, and then luckily you restructure Jimmy G so he's available, then he goes down in week 8, and now you have Brock Purdy, who's your third quarterback. You got to know that something is going on with your offensive line, or something is going on where quarterbacks are getting hurt. But you got a system in play where you don't need a great quarterback to keep winning. Why wouldn't John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan go get a quarterback just to be safe in the playoff? A guy like this, Joe Flacco, who's won a Super Bowl, who's been to a Super Bowl, who the Jets definitely would have given you for a 6th-round pick or a 7th-round pick or something, just because you knew that defense was that good that you were going to be in some spots. Once you got Christian McCaffrey, you knew that offense had players and with Trent Williams that were good enough to get you to the bowl. Why wouldn't you have an ace in the hole or a safety valve to protect yourself? That was the one thing I saw. And once I saw Josh Johnson going, I was like, 1, who the hell is that? And then 2, it reminded me of Any Given Sunday where they were trying to put Willie Beeman in the game for the first time. Beeman, where's your helmet? Look at your playbook. It's upside down. He's eating peanuts. Like, that's who Josh Johnson was. He didn't think he was going to the game. His parents were at the concession stands when he got in the game. Why is this your quarterback in the NFC Championship? When you got guys on teams that the team, like I guarantee the Jets give the 49ers Joe Flacco for a 3rd round. I mean, excuse me, not for that.
A 7th-round pick.
A 7th-round pick.
Yeah.
One of the things that people were highlighting yesterday, too, and I never considered this, but, the NFLPA used to have a rule that you had to carry 3 quarterbacks on your active roster. And Brady Quinn, there you go.
Our guy.
This is painful to watch. If the NFL hadn't gotten rid of the 3rd quarterback designation, we wouldn't be having this problem. Apparently, it wasn't worth it to the NFLPA, and that was a major talking point yesterday a lot of people had. Now, look, Brock Purdy, I'm not convinced that that's a 31-7 game yesterday if Brock Purdy plays. Because it's probably a 7-7 game at halftime, and then you just go from there. You see what happens. But Philadelphia, And a lot of, just in utter, look, if you're a member of the Philadelphia, or excuse me, of the San Francisco 49ers, Brock Purdy goes out, you know you have no chance. Josh Johnson goes out, you know you have no chance. You know Brock Purdy is just handing it off. I mean, now, why Debo or Christian McCaffrey wasn't in their run of the Wildcat or play, I don't know, but I don't know. I just don't think that game was a 31-7 game if Purdy doesn't get hurt.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, please, man.
First of all, Braylon, you're like A+ today.
Thank you, sir.
A+.
Thank you.
Kyle Shanahan blew that game.
Yeah.
First pass on 4th down, and I forgot who caught it down. Was it Devontae Smith?
Devontae Smith.
We know he didn't catch the ball.
Yeah.
Why not throw your flag there?
Call a timeout.
Call a timeout. Check. That's the first thing. The worst thing, worse than that, and I swear, the people I was watching the game with, I said this. I said, I sense a tragedy here for the 49ers. It was 14-7. They get the ball back with 1.5 minutes left, 2 minutes left. I'm like, I just hope they hand the ball off and get the hell out of the field, 14-7. I sense a bad turnover here. What happens? Josh Johnson gets hit in the face with the ball, fumble, touchdown, 21-7, game over. Game over. So he mismanaged the beginning of the first half, and he mismanaged the last series of the first half. That's on him.
Yeah.
On a depleted team. Then George Kittle was asked after the game, do you feel cheated? He says, do I feel cheated? Yeah, we didn't have a blank, blank, blank quarterback. Yeah, you're damn right I feel cheated.
I'm glad he answered it like that. Like, people that answer questions like that, you have high respect for him. You keep him in high regard, because he could have went the way of the referee. He could have went that way, but he said, no, we weren't good enough. We didn't have a quarterback. And that's what that was what it was. It was tough to watch. You know, it was painful to watch, and, you know, I don't think it'll be the same next year, but it was ugly to watch. Kyle Shanahan, you got to protect yourself. The things that you can control them.
And on the other side, too, how about Nick Sirianni? You know, one of the things that I was watching earlier this morning.
People hate his face.
Well, things going around. Nick Sirianni, apparently he's
a badass.
At his introductory press conference, people were just killing him.
Yeah.
Just absolutely killing him.
Sounds familiar, right?
Yeah, it does. But he was stumbling all over his words. He wasn't making sense. The guy can coach, man.
Yeah.
The guy can coach.
He belongs on that team.
Some people
in that city.
Yeah.
He does. He embodies what Philly is. Talkers to the fullest. Trash talkers to the fullest. You see what happened when he beat the Lions? When he got excited because they got the ball, they got last first down, and all the Lions fans, the F him, blah, blah, blah. Every fan base feels that way about Nick Sirianni, because some guys, they can't speak in front of microphones, and they don't know how to eloquently, very loquaciously say a message and be smooth. Some guys know how to get on their field, and they know how to link with the team.
Hey, baddest dude in the NFL? Trent Williams?
Reddick?
Oh, yeah.
My God. That was like a rag doll.
Baddest dude in the NFL, Trent Williams.
Hey, for 2 seconds, I saw a Michigan alum. I said, hey, man, not him. You see when Brandon Graham puts him back? I was like, no, Brandon, not him.
How about, today there was just a bunch of videos when
he had just had it at that point.
He punched Richard Sherman.
Yeah. Oh, on the sideline. Speaking of that, it was funny because he clearly slammed a DB. Now, I've been in the NFL. I've been around a little fisticuff, little scrapes, little slams. Well, when somebody gets slammed, especially when there's a size differential, so let's say a D lineman slams a wide receiver, you see the O-line come in and they jump in their face and whatever. When he slammed number 42, I didn't see any Eagles jerseys looking to have his back. I saw Brandon Graham from Michigan. Give them the push. Appreciate you. Shout out to Michigan. Go Blue. But other than that, the rest of the Eagles were like, does that say 71? No, I'm good.
That was the rest of the Eagles were like
business decision.
Braylon Edwards in the Centron commercial. Okay. Oh my goodness, that is great stuff.
How did you even?
By the way, Eagles are 1.5 point favorite over the depleted Chiefs right now. So I think that's going to be a pick'em game by the time it's said and done.
Yeah, well, lots of time to do that, guys. I got to get to a break. I do want to get local if I could. News over the weekend that Jim Harbaugh met with Denver again.
He did.
The Broncos. I want to talk about that and where it goes from here. But first message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week, 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area, many more nationwide. Find one near you. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Wicked awesome.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Downtown Detroit is all decked out this season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and the Monroe Street Midway.
Midway!
The Midway's got the giant slide, the winter bumper cars, and of course that indoor arcade. Not to mention you can always grab a drink before or after any Wings Pistons home game at the Lodge. Shop, eat, and play downtown anytime with Decked Out Detroit, and of course, check them out at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com. I want to thank Jason M. Is it Ryan Air Clowney's B-Day today? Clown emoji. Great stuff. I know you're just playing around, so love you. Thanks, Jason M. Thanks to everybody in the woodwardsports.com chat. We appreciate it. Guys, news over the weekend that the Denver Broncos brass flew to Ann Arbor over the last week and met with Jim Harbaugh, essentially a second interview. He met with them.
I thought he was done.
Well, this is not him. This is, look, this is how I read the story. Denver missed out on Sean Payton. Sean Payton doesn't want anything to do with the Denver Broncos. So, you know what? They called Jim Harbaugh again. Are you sure, Jim? Can we come meet with you? Sure, come on. We'll talk to you. And he reiterated that he's going to stay at the University of Michigan. I don't know what's going to happen with the Denver job, but you're stuck with Russell Wilson for 3 years. You have no cap space and no draft picks. It's not that attractive of a job.
I disagree. You know, this is the same guy that when we started the show, he said there's only 32 of these opportunities. And you're talking having one of these opportunities.
Can I deviate real quick, though?
Yes, you can.
If you are already making that kind of money, I don't think you need it. Like Jim Harbaugh or a Sean Payton. You're a first-year guy. Hell yeah, you're taking that job.
But what if this opportunity isn't there next year? Jim Harbaugh is a guy that clearly still wants to coach in the NFL at some point. Obviously, a lot of people talked about him being next year. Even myself, I said, I think he coaches you. This is before the second meeting, but I said, I think he coaches U of M this year, and I think next year he takes the job. But
isn't he too old then, Bray?
I mean, he's 56, 57. I don't think so. He's still got a little leg room in him. He's not that long.
Is he that young?
He's 50. He's in his late 50s. 58,
okay.
58, 59.
Okay,
Yeah,
I thought he was like 60 already.
But going back to what I said, you're talking about the team with the richest owners in the NFL, probably the richest owners in America next to Cohen, and still I think they might have more money than Cohen. But you talk about more money, you talk about situation. That situation is fixable with Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is going to usher in a running back situation. They have a Pro Bowl type running back in Williams now. You get a good offensive line. You can make some room. There's magic to be had. I mean, you look at what the Saints did last year with the salary cap. You look at what some other teams have done, salary cap, moving some players work. So you can make something happen. Russell Wilson, you saw him play better towards the end of last year. Russell Wilson was a better quarterback the last 3 games of the season. Once they fired Nathaniel Hackett, once Jerry Rosenberg, who actually was a special teams coach when I was in the NFL, dialed it down, Russell looked a little bit more like himself. I think that situation is more salvageable than people look. You got an owner that wants to give you $15 to $20 million a year. You got an organization. Denver Broncos is a well-run organization. Is a great organization to be a part of. You're looking at the situation with the NCAA. You don't know what that's going to make it at. You're looking at your situation. Damn, can we get the players to win in the semifinals? I'm just saying. And then I think for the Broncos, they're in a desperate situation to get a coach because clearly Sean Payton analyzed all these situations and said, I'll pass. You're seeing people pass on situations because coaches now have to put themselves in situations, not just take a job to be a coach. Like, nobody wants to take over that Cardinals organization because their organization has been dysfunctional. You look at so like people don't want to take the job. So you look at Houston, they're like, look what you guys have done in the last 5 years. So people are sitting out, they're waiting, and I think that's making the Denver Broncos put a little bit more pressure on Harbaugh and say, hey, look, all right, $20 million, we'll up our price.
I've never seen this like this. So I think guys seeing the landscape of things and seeing how organizations treat some of these head coaches, I do kind of retreat on that statement that there's only 32 of these, because I think now more than ever, guys have been way more selective in their process. They're not just jumping at the first job they get. They're making sure it's the right job for them. Let me just read for you what Schefter says about the Harbaugh thing. You know, obviously they met. We had talked about that, and Harbaugh reaffirmed his commitment to Michigan. The Broncos have moved on as well, continuing their discussions now with several other candidates. Denver has interviewed Sean Payton, former Lions and Colts coach Jim Caldwell, David Shaw of Stanford, Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, and DeMeco Ryans, the 49ers defensive coordinator. Harbaugh, they said this about Harbaugh. This is from Schefter. Harbaugh has now met with the Vikings and Broncos in back-to-back years. While one source wondered how many more chances Harbaugh would get, another league source said the league is likely to be interested in Jim as long as he is successfully coaching. He has proven every level. He's proven at every level, including the NFL. That's a hard resume to match. So a lot of people believe the NFL has moved on after this last go-around. Others say, no, man, if you're a successful head coach, there are teams willing to give you that opportunity year in, year out. So we'll see where this goes. I do think Harbaugh doesn't leave Michigan until or unless he wins a national championship at Michigan.
Yeah, 100%. You know, there's these jobs are out there, but a lot of people are waiting on them. And then again, we keep talking about, I think, teams, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. Look at Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn just removed his name from the hat altogether. He said, you know what, like, I like my gig here.
Did he remove it, or did he not have it get the gig?
I don't think there's gig, like, and it goes back to Ryan saying, like, 32 teams, and now Ryan correcting and saying is, it's not about 32 teams. It's about the right situation and opportunity. Even though you're going to get paid. Look at Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff just got broke off. Like, he's paid. Like, he can do whatever he wants. He can have fun.
Go live in Thailand.
Exactly. But he had no success. He was a terrible coach in the NFL. Trying to get back in the NFL, it's going to be tough. I think guys like Dan Quinn, last time you see him, it was in the Atlanta Falcons. It was in the Super Bowl. It's 28-3. You know, him and Kyle Shanahan. I think you're trying to pick the right spots now. As black coaches, you definitely better pick the right spot. Because, you know, in the day, out tomorrow, and that's becoming with everybody. Who the hell wants to be coach 1 year, 2 years, and then get fired? Like, having that fire on being fired on your resume, see, that's called a stain. The more you get fired, now they're like, you weren't that good with the Cardinals. Like, well, we're good on you.
Right. If I was Harbaugh and I got a chance to coach the Broncos, I would.
Yeah.
I would take the Broncos job in a minute. That's a good organization.
It's too much uncertainty here. I mean, you look at him and War Emanuel, they haven't spoken. Shoot, we're in January, we're in February. We'll be in May soon. That'll be a year. He hasn't talked to his AD in a year. He maybe not getting the exact contract he wants, although it's been reported that he got offered 10.3 without incentives. So 10.3 without incentives. I mean, hey, that's major. So you look at that, you look at this stuff with the NCAA, Burgergate, if you want to. You just look at recruiting. There's a lot swirling around him and his relationship with Ann Arbor right now. I think that's why Denver is putting this press on him, because they're like, things don't, I mean, you look at the incidents with kids up there, with White's situation, you look at Mozzie Smith, all this stuff starting to happen. Denver's like, if we keep putting the right amount of pressure, the right amount of money, I think we can pop him out the situation because there's a lot Jim Harbaugh is dealing with in Ann Arbor.
Don't you think it's a good job to take, the Broncos? I mean, you're not going to win a Super Bowl right away, but that's a solid. They're not going to fire him.
It's an amazing job.
He ain't Nathaniel Hackett.
It's an amazing job, but at the same time, you got one of those ones. Like head coach at Michigan, it's like one of those jobs. I know we argued about the different schools and different takes now, but Michigan now, to be able to do what you want to do in Ann Arbor, where Michigan's brand is right now, where he's gotten that take, it's kind of hard for me to leave Ann Arbor to go to Denver, which is, any team is good, especially Denver. But Ann Arbor, and you're having that success, it's just tough. I would have to be in that situation. I have to know what I would do.
All right, guys, going to take a break. Come right back. When we do, want to get into this Aaron Rodgers situation. Is it the Packers who will make the call whether A-Rod plays for Green Bay next season? We'll do that next, but first a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Yes, sir. It's that time of the year that you want to get that tan, and it's going to be easy because Chili Peppers Tanning is all over the Metro Detroit area, 27 locations and more on the way. And if you join the Pepper Club, they're going to get all the best deals, plus they're going to save you against any competitor. $5 against any competitor. They're going to beat them all for unlimited tanning and more. You get the cleanest salons in the D as well. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans is ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Centron World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages and premium bottled water. Centron is fashionable, it's functional, and it's fun. Simply put, Centron is the best, so why don't you jump on board, because they've teamed up with WoodwardSports.com to re-energize the city, so we plan on letting them drink it, live it with Centron.
Look at that. Okay.
Hey, before you move off Michigan, before you move off Michigan, did you see Colton Loveland?
Oh, yeah.
He got a sweetheart of a deal from one of the car companies here in Michigan.
He did. Michigan tight end Colston Loveland has received a $70,000 2023 GMC Sierra Elevation as part of the NIL deal with Randy Wise Automotive. At least I'm glad they got it right this time. This actually was a car provided through NIL, much unlike the Blake Corum situation.
Yeah, what up with Blake?
Well, his car got stolen. Yeah. Like his parents bought him a car for graduation, and that was his car. That's what he used. He wrapped it, put his own money into it, wrapped it, and it's a great wrap, and the car got stolen. Like, I mean, you go to the wrong places, cars get stolen. I mean, stuff like that. I don't subscribe to the theory, don't wrap your car in black and white fatigue because it's an eyes like, come steal me, come get me. Yeah. I don't subscribe to that theory. If you want to wrap your car. But on the other side, you are making it easier for people like target that vehicle. So do what you want to do. But
there's Blake.
Should be easier to find.
There's Blake's car.
This garages.
They unwrap that sucker.
100%, man. No, that's a wrap. All you gotta do is unwrap it. It's probably black on the other side. So now, you know how many black Chargers are running around?
That thing's in East Lansing.
Detroit?
No
that
kidding.
Thing's in East Lansing right now.
Hey, you know what? That's a good thought. If it was anybody else, I would say East Lansing. Blake's too nice though. They wouldn't do it to Blake.
Man.
They would get Mozzie Smith maybe. Get Mozzie.
I can't wait. Well, we could talk about Michigan
College
football,
football
but you're talking.
I love Loveland, by the way. I loved. He came out of nowhere.
Made some major plays.
He came out of nowhere.
I mean, you're talking about college football. You say Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards. I can't remember a time where Michigan has been as talented as they will be next year. I mean, quarterback.
Who's playing receiver?
I don't know yet. It doesn't matter. They got those 2 running backs.
See, this is where you and me get into it, because you said that all last year, but it was very proven that we needed receivers. Come Ohio State, come TCU, and we didn't get a chance for the final. You need receivers.
Look, they have proved that they don't know what to do with talented receivers anyway.
Okay, I get
so it doesn't matter. They'll figure it out. Guys, let me get to the story over the weekend that broke. Aaron Rodgers. The Packers say, "Hey, we want to move on from you."
Mofo?
Not the other way around. So this is from our good friend Dov. Dov Kleeman, his great follow on Twitter. The Packers prefer to move on from quarterback Aaron Rodgers. That's what Adam Schefter's reporting. Rodgers is aware of the Packers' feeling about wanting to trade him.
And the feeling's mutual.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I don't think he retires. If there is one guy that would leave $100+ million on the table over the next 2 years that is guaranteed, it is Aaron Rodgers. But I think he saw what Tom Brady did in the new life that was born into him when he left New England and went to Tampa Bay and won a Super Bowl. I don't think he's ready to give it up yet, and I do think he is going to get traded. If I'm the Packers, I absolutely want to move on from Aaron Rodgers for a number of reasons, but I don't want my program to be held hostage anymore from you.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers clearly didn't pay attention to the full situation with Tom Brady, because he would have known that Tom Brady wasn't a dick before he left the Patriots, and that's why it looked a little bit better when he got to Tampa, much like what he's done with the Green Bay Packers. But you know what? It's one of those things now. See, now people are weird. Like, people are funny. Aaron Rodgers maybe wanted to leave when he thought it was up to him. And it was his choice. And it was his decision. It was his choice. It was his option. You know what? I think I want to leave. Like, then it was cool. Now that Green Bay wants him out of there, he's like, whoa.
Right.
Y'all want me gone too? Nah, I think I might stay. I think this might make him stay. I think he just might be that petty of a person. But if we're still playing the make-believe game, he has to go to the AFC. That's what Green Bay has said. They said they won't trade him to the NFC. So there goes the San Francisco 49ers off the table. There's only 2 teams on the table, and that team really isn't on the table for me. The New York Jets, worst offensive line in football, I'm telling you.
Are they that bad?
It's not that they don't have anybody. Like, they drafted 2 first-rounders. One is both got injured, and they don't have anybody else on that team. So, yes, technically the same thing I'm saying about the Broncos. It can't be fixed. But you're, as a quarterback as Aaron Rodgers, you're not coming into a situation of offensive line where it's trying to be fixed. Like, where you're trying to fix it. So I'm just looking at it like, I just can't see him going to a team that is. And then also, if you look at the age of the New York Jets, if you look at that age range on their team, I think they're the 3rd youngest team in the NFL. I think the Lions are 1. I can't think of who's 2. Excuse me. And I think the New York Jets are 3. Aaron Rodgers ain't trying to go play with a bunch of kids. Like, we know this about Aaron. It's the reason why he went back and got Randall Cobb's old ass. He wanted a friend, a familiar face, someone that he trusted the work ethic, someone that he trusted watching film, someone that he trusted knowing a playbook. He doesn't want to go to a bunch of young kids. I don't care how talented Garrett Wilson is. I don't care how talented Garrett Wilson is, and Breece Hall is going to be. That offensive line is young and no good. That defense is damn good, but the offensive side of the ball is young and they're no good. So the Nathaniel Hackett, kind of like the glue, I get that. And he has talked well about Nathaniel Hackett, but I just can't see him going there. I think the Raiders are the move if he leaves. It's got to be the Raiders.
He's going to the Jets. and the Dolphins are going to get Brady.
Right.
And the 2 old men are going to be in the AFC East going against each other, and that's exactly what's going to happen. That's it. Flat out. End of story.
So hold on. So, man, now you talk about competition, Ryan. You mean, and I said they like to compete. Competing against different divisions is one thing. These 2 gentlemen are not going to put themselves in a situation to where they got to play each other twice a year.
Yeah, they are.
And Josh Allen twice a year. Not gonna happen. Tom.
How excited would that be?
Will Brock Purdy get injured? You got your answer. What did I say?
Good
I said
if he didn't win a Super Bowl.
If he didn't make it to the Super Bowl, Brock Purdy. Not only did he not make the Super Bowl, you finally got to look and be like, all right, can we move off these 4th and 3rd and second backup quarterbacks? Tom Brady's going to the 49ers.
How about Aaron Rodgers there?
100%.
Well, Aaron Rodgers can't go.
Because now you keep Trey Lance. Now you keep Trey Lance. Make Trey Lance sit a year. Get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. You know Tom's going to come in and say, look, all I need is $10 million.
Look, everything that I said last week about Tom Brady to the Lions is true. And the only reason I didn't mention the 49ers is because I thought 49ers were going to go in there and win. And I just didn't think you replaced your quarterback at that point. Now it's very easy. Yeah. It's very simple. Tom Brady to the 49ers is a lock.
It's a lock.
It is. It might as well just, right. And I know all the Miami stuff. I understand all the Miami stuff. But again, why would you, in heaven's name, compete with Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Rodgers,
Jackson,
Deshaun Watson? Don't sleep on Cleveland next year with Deshaun Watson.
No, you're right.
And even Russell.
Why would you want to compete against all those quarterbacks when you can come to the San Francisco 49ers? Now,
wasn't that his childhood team?
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was his childhood team.
Yeah, that was his childhood team. His parents, his family lives out there.
That's why they bring that up again.
Now, it's a little bit further away from his kids. That would be the one thing about it. That would be the one thing about the distance from his kids. He's got one that lives in New York, and then the others, with Giselle, live in Miami.
Yeah.
So
while you're on Brady for a second,
yes,
I've had something in my around the NFL for about a week.
Bring it up then, brother.
All right, Tom Brady. Let's bring this up, Fletch. Was in Miami, looking at private schools for his children. There he is. Ryan?
And again, I understand that. I see that. I do think this is a nothing story because that's where Giselle has a home with the kids. That's where they're going to school.
By the way, she's looking good again.
Yeah, I understand that.
There's no stress.
So, I mean, his kids live with Giselle in Miami. You know what I mean?
But, Ryan, to give Maz a little bit of steam for that, she just purchased that home in December. That home was just purchased.
Right. So they got to figure out where the kids are going to school.
I definitely understand that. But why, of all places, did she choose Miami?
Well, that's where she always wanted to be. That's where they always That's where they always talked about being.
Just throwing it out there.
You know,
he's going to own a piece of the Dolphins.
It's the multicultural aspect of the city of Miami. You, more than anybody, you've spent some time in Miami.
Ryan, we brought
welcome to Miami.
Don't put my business out there.
How many times have we brought up that he's going to own a piece of the Dolphins? Stephen Ross wants Tom Brady. Stephen Ross gave up a first-round pick this year. Well, it was taken from him because he colluded with Tom Brady to come to Miami with Sean Payton, quarterback the Dolphins for a couple years, and own a piece of the team. And I'm just saying, it's still there.
Yeah, it definitely is still there. It's definitely still there as you wear the Miami Dolphins hoodie. So it's perfect time to talk Miami Dolphins with you.
Can you hold that thought for a minute? We'll be right back. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 freaking years. You see that black and yellow sign out in front of the house tells the bad guys one thing. Stay out. Whether you are at home or on the road, their 24/7 professional monitoring and customized approach from real experts helps you feel safe. That's right. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's proven to work by people. Proven to care. Call this number right here, 1-800-STAY OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Wintertime in Detroit's always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. How about starting it off with the classic meatloaf or the Cajun chicken Alfredo? Sounds great to me, but breakfast is how you start it off. Those stuffed potato pancakes and those omelets. I love me a great omelet. How about it? How about the Lumberjack, the Santa Fe Garden, or the Blockbuster? Try them all. Get to your local Big Boy today.
Good stuff. Welcome in. Braylon, you were talking about the Miami Dolphins before I rudely stopped you to stay on time here.
So rude. This guy's just terrible. You're just terribly rude. Just because it's your birthday, Ryan Ermanni.
Hey, man. Sometimes you just got to stay on time.
You do.
Got to stay on time to pay the bills around here.
And speaking of staying on time and being on time, there's a video that we took about, being on time, throwing on time at least. Fletch, you got that video? You put that up on, boy. Ooh. Speaking of on time, look at this throw by my quarterback, man. He takes his jacket off. Okay.
One of the great thrills of my life, this is, by the way.
This is one of the great throws that I've ever received, too, by the way.
Look at the big house.
You've seen my quarterback resume. You know I'm telling the truth. Look at this. Look at the spiral. On point. In the corner end zone. Look at that. Look at the celebration.
Never.
Look how genuine the celebration
came out of the game. One of the great thrills of my life is throwing a touchdown to you at Michigan Stadium.
He looked as good as Charlie Fry.
And by the way,
that's the best pass I've had since I've had Chet Haney as a quarterback.
Look at that. And people up in the stadium boxes.
Oh, that was nice.
For the event. We're down there.
So it gave you like a real game, like a night game feel.
A little bit.
Had some people up there in the suites.
How about
some people cheering for you. Catch the pass. Look at that, man. And the crowd goes wild.
Oh, man.
Money drops back. 2 on the clock.
So good. Why not?
Happy birthday.
Why not? Thanks so much, guys. Hey, I wanted to ask you guys about this situation. And it's in regards...
Did you forget about the Dolphins?
That's what were you saying about the Dolphins?
About the Dolphins. I would say, in terms of the money situation with Stephen Ross, in terms of partnering with the team, that all sounds great. But you know what? They ain't winning no Super Bowl down there.
Hey, Vic Fangio announces the defensive coordinator.
That's a big hire.
That's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
Vic Fangio was with the 49ers when I was there. I know that guy.
It's from Tom Pelissero. The Dolphins have agreed to terms with Vic Fangio.
He's the highest coordinator.
On a deal that makes him the NFL's highest paid coordinator. It's a 3-year deal with a 4th-year team option. Fangio and former Broncos coach is one of football's best defensive minds. Huge get for Mike McDaniel.
I wouldn't put a lot of stock in it being the highest coordinator salary, and the only reason why I wouldn't, so many guys are now just replenishing from within the ranks. Guys aren't taking long deals at coordinator. You know why? Because guys are leaving. Like the guys that are going to be the guys, the coordinator. How long was Mike McDaniel the coordinator for the 49ers? How long was Robert Saleh the coordinator? Like how long was Kevin O'Connell the coordinator for the Rams? How long was Matt LaFleur the coordinator for the Command? Guys are getting hired so fast, so I wouldn't put a lot of stock in Big Fangio being the highest paid, but he's a damn good coordinator. He was in San Fran and was responsible for that defense when I was there.
Did you see who McVay hired over the weekend? Quietly on Friday? Mike LaFleur. Mike LaFleur as offensive coordinator for L.A. now.
I think Mike LaFleur left.
Couldn't do it for the Jets. Let's see if he can do it for the Rams.
Sometimes you leave a situation, it's an upgrade. I think this is an upgrade for him. He has Matt Stafford a quarterback. Now he has a quarterback. Every week, Mike LaFleur is trying to figure out who the hell was going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Is it Mike White? Is it Zach Wilson? Is it Joe Flacco? Is it Mike White again? Is it Zach Wilson again? Is it Joe Flacco again in Week 18? So having Matt Stafford at quarterback, I think, will give him some consistency, and I think he'll be much better there.
What about what happened in Dallas? I mean, Kellen Moore.
Somebody got to take the blame.
Well, that's just it. How many times? This is really the first time I can remember. Maybe I'm just not remembering well. But a lot of head coaches that were on the brink of being fired said, no. It ain't my fault. It's my coordinator's fault. A lot of these, whether it's in Los Angeles with the Chargers, whether it's Dallas, whether it's, there was another situation.
Chargers.
Dallas, and I wrote it to you guys yesterday, but I can't
Cardinals?
remember. No. Either way, People are just getting rid of their coordinators, and now Kellen Moore will go to
the Chargers.
How about that?
He wasn't without a job 24 hours.
Upgrade
he gets Justin Herbert.
Upgrade.
Dak Prescott to Justin Herbert.
It's an upgrade in quarterback, but I don't know if it's an upgrade in offensive.
I agree with you. Can I just say this real quick?
Please.
I never got the fascination with Kellen Moore, and I think it's always because of this. Because he looks like the hottest young offensive mind
especially
now.
Last year,
he's really not.
How much of it? Yeah,
he's really not. Like there's nothing that he does spectacularly well. Play design, calling a game, nothing that he does really exceptional.
I saw stats that said in the last 2 years, the Dallas Cowboys were the number one offense. They've scored the most points. They've converted the most third downs, and they had the most first downs. This is all in the last, if you add the last 2 years together under Kellen Moore's tenure. I saw that, but what I didn't see are stats about big games. What I didn't see is fourth quarter stats. What I didn't see is the meltdowns that his quarterbacks have in the second. I mean, that Dak Prescott has had in the second half. What I didn't see is how the offense starts one way and then they get to another way. The only way that this can possibly be a smart move by Brandon Staley, possibly, and there's like when I say possibly, Ryan Ronnie, like this is the possibility angle that I'm talking about, is if Jerry Jones was such a distraction and he had such pull with the team where
Baltimore was one of them too.
Baltimore, 100%. Where Kellen Moore wanted to do other things with the offense, but then Jerry would come in and say, hey, we got to make sure Zeke gets his touches. We got to make sure we run the ball with Tony Pollard. Or he starts to run the ball, and now Jerry comes in another week later, and he's like, hey, man, you got to make sure Dak's getting the ball down the field 32 times. So if he was hamstringed by Jerry Jones.
Tampa Bay's another one, sorry.
Oh, Brian Leftwich. That's the one. Byron Leftwich.
Yeah.
That's the one you're thinking of. But if he was hamstringed by Jerry Jones and he goes
Patty.
out there and then he's just like this guy, he's this offensive mind, all right, then maybe I can give Jerry Jones the blame and you were able to get from underneath him. But, Ryan, I agree with you. I don't see that. I don't see it being Jerry Jones' default completely of Kellen Moore's downward descent in the last 2 years. So, just like we said, Sean Payton is waiting for that Chargers job because Brandon Staley's still the head coach, and we know what he's going to do. And now you hire Kellen Moore, a head scratcher. That Charger job is going to be open next year, and that's where Sean Payton will be.
And I do believe there's about 9 now openings at the offensive coordinator position. 9 of them. People are firing coordinators, getting rid of coordinators, and not head coaches.
Remember, game.
It is an offensive game, but remember the report that came out earlier this year that NFL organizations, NFL owners are paying out over $800 million to coaches who are no longer coaching their teams. So the selection process is becoming a lot more, hey, whatever you're doing it wrong. Because if you were doing it the right way, you would not be paying $800 million out collectively as an NFL to all of these coaches. So, you got to make it up to these owners somehow so you get rid of the coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about these owners having so much money now, and they're able to take a ticket like that. I mean, like, look at the Cardinals. The Cardinals extend Cliff Kingsbury before the season, $250 million,
unbelievable,
and then fire him. But I think the other owners are starting. How did we become owners? It's because we're frugal. We know how to cut the corners. Like, we know where to cut the corners. We know how to save the money. We know how to be that. Giving away money every year on a coach is not the way you do it. Firing an offensive coordinator, it's a little more likely. So now as an offensive coordinator, you've become the guy taking all the blame in an offensive game now in the NFL. So you better have it right, because it seems like if you don't,
out.
Hey, back in the day, head coaches would always go to bat for their guys. And, oh, no, I'm not firing anybody. Now the owners are like, well, you're either going to fire these guys or it's going to be you. Okay, you're right. That's exactly what's happening in baseball and here in football as well. It's survival of the fittest.
But dude,
it's either you or it's me. It ain't going to be me.
There's just so much money at stake now, man. There's so much money at stake. Look, I love you to death, but I'm not going to really
lose my gig for you.
Not only this gig, but this generational wealth that you're creating for your grandkids and their grandkids by signing, $10 million a year on a 4-year, 5-year, 6-year deal.
The best example of that is in our own hometown. It's the Detroit Lions. Last year, the Detroit Lions, they hired Dan Campbell, first-year coach. What does he do? He goes and gets the offensive coordinator that he knows. He goes to get his boy Anthony Lynn. Anthony Lynn was the coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, took over head coaching job for the Los Angeles Chargers, now the San Diego Chargers, now Los Angeles Chargers. He bought him out of retirement, Ryan Ermanni. Dan Campbell went and got A-Lin and said, hey, A-Lin, why don't you come out here and coach with your boy? It's my first time. I got to have some people around me that know what they're doing, can give the message out. You can talk about grit, determination. You can go for my back, I go for yours. He fired him, bought him out of retirement, fired him after week 9, took over his job, and then, sent him on his way. That, above anything, should be the example. Now, look, it ain't going to be me.
And look at these owners, though, too. I mean, it's much easier to eat a $1 million contract on a coordinator than a $6, $7, $8 million contract. $12 million contract.
Making 12
over 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's just the way to do it, guys. We have Maz's
Mondays with Maz.
Mondays with Maz coming up next. He's got a little note there about the NHL.
He's got a little niggity note.
But first, a message from Custom Health Centers. Custom Health Centers is the place for you. We're going to get Braylon involved.
Hey, I'm ready. I'm down right now.
It is your customized approach to weight loss. I am down 16 pounds since we began the program. Think of all the ways that weight affects your health mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. They take the willpower out of weight loss. That's right, whether you need to lose 20 or 120 pounds. 20 pounds is my weight loss goal. Custom Health Center has the approach just for you. Call this number right here, 1-844-789-THIN, 844-789-THIN.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Matrix Home Solutions is your go-to for any home project. Looking for that new man cave? Well, Matrix has you covered. Of course, everyone wants a new fireplace, but this Friday, join us and Big D Energy. That's Ermanni, Edwards, and Maz, if you didn't know. This Friday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the grand opening of Matrix Home Solution in Plymouth. Come check out all that Matrix has and have an opportunity to win some great prizes, plus autographs as well from Braylon Edwards and Darren McCarty. We will see you this Friday at Matrix Home Solutions in Plymouth. And by the way, check them out online at matrixhomesolutions.com.
Man, it's on you, buddy.
Hey, that's me. Hey, I got a little something to say today. It's unfortunate. It's bad news. It's very sad news for a guy that loves sports and loves the game of hockey. And I had the old original Bobby Hull hockey, the tabletop hockey game, which I'm still looking to buy on eBay. I want one. I want to teach my daughters how to play. The great Bobby Hull passed away today at the age of 84. The Golden Jet. Played for the Blackhawks for all those years. Won a Stanley Cup for him back in the 60s. Him and Stan Mikita together. What a great team they were together. He's one of the greatest hockey players of all time. One of the 100 greatest hockey players of all time. Father to the Golden Brett Hull, who we, of course, won a Stanley Cup here with us here in Detroit. But Bobby Hull, what a feared player he was. What a gregarious, outgoing, fun guy he was as well. First guy to actually bend the curve on a stick.
Really? Is that true?
Yes, that's true.
Wow, I did not know.
You know why he did that?
It's
It's because of the slap shot.
Yeah.
His slap shot was like 118, 120 miles per hour. First guy to really unload. And when this guy was getting ready to shoot, you got out of your seat to watch him shoot.
It was like
Bobby Hull hockey. Every kid had a Bobby Hull hockey set. And it was always the Blackhawks against the Canadians, and the stickers would always run off, always peel off the guys, and you'd write mustaches on them. Did you ever play that game, guys? At tabletop? It's Bobby Hull, man.
Talking about it's like you're on the same, your opposite side.
Yeah,
you turn it.
You got the little sticks there.
My stepmom had one at her house.
So great.
On Gallagher and Ryan by Pershing High School. I think it was the Red Wings and the Blackhawks.
Oh,
unbelievable!
So
it's like
good,
Red Wings
man.
versus Blackhawks.
Well, my condolences, our condolences to the great Bobby Hull, one of the kings of the NHL, and the first $1 million NHL player. Had to leave the NHL to go to the upstart WHA in the 70s, the World Hockey Association, where the great one was born. Wayne Gretzky played there in the WHA. Bobby Hull played for the Winnipeg Jets and won 2 Avco Cups for them, which was the Stanley Cup.
Man.
Was the Stanley Cup for them. But the first... Remember when the WFL came and Larry Zonka and Jim Kick and Paul Warfield left the Dolphins?
We don't.
I only knew Larry Zonka from American Gladiators.
Well, they left the Dolphins, the
I only knew
undefeated
Paul Warfield as a
Dolphins,
scouting coach.
Him and Mike Adams.
to go to this new World League and made some money for the Memphis Southmen. I remember that team. But anyway, Bobby Hull did that for the WHA. Gordie Howe left the NHL and went and played for the Hartford Whalers, the Hartford Arrows, I think they were called back then, with his sons. Marty
right.
and I forgot the other Hull's name, but Mark Hull, of course. How could I forget Mark Howe? How could I forget that?
I don't know.
Dr. Marty. Anyway,
you remembered everything else, so
God bless Bobby Hull, man.
Pretty good.
You are missed. The Golden Jet. Rest in peace.
Incredible stuff there. Absolutely. Rest in peace.
Did you see? You gotta love Patrick Beverly. Like, even if you hate Patrick Beverly, you gotta love him.
Best technical foul of all time.
Did you see him, man? So after the call on LeBron, well, after the no call on LeBron's banging on the floor. Game's over.
Why?
It's like Nancy Kerrigan, right? Oh, that happened here, by the way.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverly goes up to the photographer for the Lakers, takes his camera, or asks to see it on his camera, or I guess or maybe the photographer showed him or something. He goes up to the ref, man, holds the camera to the ref and said, "Foul! Look, foul! Instant tech. Game's over." I think Jason Tatum still shot one.
Right, exactly.
Still shot Tatum.
I'd want him on my team. Hey, quickly.
It was worth it.
Michigan State and Michigan in college hoops got walloped over the weekend. Boy, oh boy, am I disappointed in this Michigan team or what? I mean, they
might not even make the NIT.
Yeah, look, it's not looking that way. And Tom Izzo's team is not doing much better. This might be one of those years where just college basketball doesn't work out here in Michigan.
Hey, look, man, trust me.
In the state.
We've had plenty of those years, especially in Ann Arbor. I didn't think they would be a good team, but I thought, Hunter Dickinson coming back.
Exactly.
I thought that would be enough to be decent enough to be like like a 12 seed,
maybe 9
I wouldn't think that. I was like 11, maybe like 11, but they're nowhere near that.
Fine.
So now they got to depend on winning the conference tournament.
Hey, before we get out of here,
last note.
A quick shout out to one of our guys on the chat. One of the guys that always donates to the super chat. He gifted $10 to Woodward Sports to wish Ryan Ermanni a happy birthday.
Unbelievable,
happy birthday, Ryan Ermanni. We all love you, brother, and appreciate you.
Look, it means a lot.
Jason
It means the world to me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the happy birthdays today. Absolutely. I love you guys so much. So thanks for that. Braylon, get us out of here.
Well, to my favorite clown emoji, happy birthday again, Ryan Ermanni. May it bring you all the joy that you need and even the joy that you want.
I'm going to go let my kids spoil me now, all right?
That's what I'm
the best
talking
part
about.
of the day, man.
But you know what? We got 2 weeks to talk about the Super Bowl. So let's talk about the Super Bowl Wednesday. Tomorrow we will talk about the Detroit Lions because, once again, it is our Super Bowl time of year, man. It's that draft. So let's get more mock drafts out there, more updates on what the Lions are going to do. And also, let's get some Pistons talking here. Now that the season is coming to an end, it's time to get the Pistons involved into the fold. For my man JB, for Fletch, for Uncle Maz on the couch, for my brother from another mother whose birthday it is, once again, Ryan.
Look at that.
Happy birthday. We are Amani. and Edwards with the main
Happy
man
birthday,
Maz.
bro.
Happy birthday,
Very good.
Ryan.
Love you guys.
Love you
Thank
too.
you.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.